Hi first graders, today we are going to do math lesson 4, chapter 8. You will need your math lesson 4 problem solving worksheets, page 581, it says at the bottom. So this from your packet, and then you will also need some Lincoln cubes. You should have some of these at home that we're going to use. So cubes and your worksheet. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's take a look at the first problem here. And we've got a picture of a carrot, and it says the carrot is less than 10 cubes long. It is more than 10 cubes long. So it's less than 10 cubes, but more than 2 cubes long. About how many cubes long is the carrot? So think about it. If you have 2 cubes and you know it is more than 2, but less than 10, underline, or think about how many cubes long the carrot could be. So first it says to underline what you know. So we know that the carrot is less than 10 cubes. We know it is more than 2 cubes long. We need to circle what we need to find. Well, what it's asking us is about how many cubes long is the carrot. So how could we solve this problem? That's our second step. Plan how we could solve it. Third step, we need to solve the problem. And it says, I will guess, check, and revise. So, move this down a little bit so we can see a little better. I guess they said about 4. So 4 is more than 2. And it says it was more than 2 cubes long. So that could be right. Or we could actually use our cubes to measure exactly how long it is. So I'm going to use some cubes and go from this endpoint to the other endpoint and measure. And I can see it is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes long. If you look right here, the carrot is about 5 cubes long, which is less than 10. So that could be a correct answer. 5 cubes. So we kind of use the problem solving strategy of first, understand the problem, plan out how you're going to solve the problem, third, solve the problem, and then 4, check to see if your answer is reasonable or correct. So let's go to the next page and kind of try the same thing out, but with this practice problem, okay? On this one, it says the container is less than 9 cubes long. This container is less than 9 cubes long. It is more than 1 cube long, though. About how long is the container? So the first thing they want us to do is underline what we know. We know that the container is less than 9 cubes, but it is more than 1 cube. Then it wants us to circle what we need to find out. Well, we need to find out how long is the container. So we want to know how long this container is, okay? So we're planning how to solve the problem. We've got our cubes to help us. Now, when we solve it, it says I can guess. Well, I'm going to guess a number that is between 9 and 1. It has to be less than 9, but more than 1. So I'm going to guess maybe 6. 6 cubes long, because 6 is less than the number 9, but it is more than the number 1. Okay, now to solve, I can actually use my cubes to measure from this endpoint, just like we've learned with measurement, to this endpoint with my cubes. So I'm going to just stick the 5 there, and that looked a little long. So if I can see, the 5 was too long, but now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So how long is my container? It is 4 cubes long. Now I can check my answer. Does that seem reasonable? I think so, because 4 cubes fit right perfectly in between the endpoints here and here to make the same length as the container. And I can double check by making sure, is 4 less than 9, like the problem told me? Yes. Is it more than 1 cube? Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and go on to applying our strategy and using that strategy to kind of solve some problems on this one. In the first picture, we have some corn on the cob. And it says, about how many cubes long is this object? Guess, then measure, and revise if we need to. So if I were to guess this, how long this is, well, I knew my container from back there was only 4. So this looks longer than the container. So I'm just gonna guess 7. I don't know if that's correct or not, but how can I make sure it's correct? I can now go and measure using my cubes. So I'm gonna get my cubes and I'm gonna just start with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I would say that was a pretty good guess because as if I line it up at the end point, it is pretty close. So I would say about 7 or 8. So I definitely would say 7 because if I add another one, that would make it too long. So I don't always get that lucky, but that was a lucky guess. So 7 cubes long is the corn on the cob. Let's try this number 2 for the broccoli. Well, I know the broccoli is going to be much less than 7 because that's way longer. What do you guys think? How about 3 maybe? Let's try 3. I think I'm pretty good at this guessing game because 1, 2, 3 looks about right. So I would say, using my cubes, that it was actually 3. Let's see this one. This might be tough. It says to draw a line longer than the celery. It wants me to draw a line that is longer than the celery.
Teachers, it's 3 o'clock. Could you please go in and submit your attendance? Thank you.
So I'm just going to draw a line that is longer than the celery. Okay, now I'm going to measure the celery though. I'm gonna say maybe 6 for this one. Let's see how good my guess is. And I would say 6 is pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when you are measuring, remember that we learned, make sure you're starting at this end point right here. Make sure you are always starting at the end point, because if I start halfway through the object, it's going to look like it's longer, and that's not going to work. We want to start very same spot, so very same end point as the object we're trying to measure. And then I'm going to go ahead and let you guys try some of these strategies on your own, just similar to the same ones we've been using on this worksheet. So go ahead and try number 4, 5, and 6 on your own and see what you can do. Good luck.